and digital nomads, Bali is literally overflowing with garbage now. The
Oh
island's
my
biggest
god. Bali is everything wrong with society. To be honest, Bali is always somewhere that I'll be like, yeah, I want to go to Bali. Like if you would have asked me like, yo, would you go to Turks and Caicos? Would you go to Dubai? Would you go to Bali? Bali is one of those places where it's like, yeah, I go. But to be honest, I don't even know why I want to go. I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for me to even learn what's going on over there. So hopefully I can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone.
Bali used to be a paradise, a serene island with a friendly and welcoming culture, jaw-dropping landscapes and exotic wildlife. Unfortunately, today, this Indonesian dreamland has become home to a completely different kind of animal.
On the island of Bali, the world's largest digital nomad hub.
Okay guys, I just found another group of digital nomads here. Another digital nomad is just so easy to find them here. Okay guys, another digital nomad here.
It seems like this is the spot that most people go to after get some online motion. I know for sure Thailand was probably like the #1 place I know people go. Maybe Mexico. Never knew Bali was such a hot spot for digital nomads.
They're everywhere in Bali, and if you ask them about their jobs, like this YouTuber Travel with Rafa did, then you'll probably get some answers like this.
I basically help guys level up on dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge.
Focused at optimizing.
That tattoo is fucking awful, my boy. The shits look high quality, but this... How did you go get this patriotic ass tattoo on your chest, bro? But anyways, before we even get into it, I'm wondering how this could be harmful if the place is really filled with digital nomads. Like, I'm sure it's gonna be a bunch of course sellers and people making money off bullshit, but like, how is this really harmful to the country? I'm not sure. One thing that I do think is fucked up though, I don't really think anybody's really entitled to give large amounts of what they have. But on the other hand, I also think the epitome of wealth should be regulated. So I have a kind of different opinion on that. I'm Afro-Caribbean or Caribbean-American or whatever the fuck, whatever you want to call it. But my mom is from Guyana, my dad is from Jamaica. I'm from America. When your dollar is way more than theirs, most people have the odds against them when it comes to even living comfortably. So I feel like if I was over here as some digital nomad making all types of 5K, 6K a month, I'm sure these guys are making, like, I hope they were at least circulating money through the economy.
I'm basically an entrepreneur and run a couple of companies. Dropped out from uni 2 months ago. One of them is focused at getting college students to do their exams faster using like new teaching technologies.
Ah, nice.
Comments were quick to point out the obvious contradiction, with one user saying the guy who dropped out of uni wants to help college students do their exam. But even he sounds more legit than the next 2 sunbathers.
So Cody and I are actually building a self-development course.
Nice.
We've been doing that for 2 months, and we'll always be doing calls and lectures and getting mentors in. Collaborations, so it's going to be valuable.
So despite only starting this mentorship course business 2 months ago, they're already giving other people advice on how to start their own business and get their own lives together. Just like this other commenter says, yeah, we wanted to do something unique, so we decided to be Aussies in Bali selling BS courses and making YouTube videos. But these people are now just a common regular sight. The amount of tourists that come to the island every year now outnumbers its local population by nearly 3 million.
That's rough. I was hoping the number was kind of like a small percentage, but that just flipped everything already. This video is probably going to be pretty sad then, because I already see the direction that this is going, you know what I mean? I wonder why the government is letting this happen. There should be a regulation.
It wasn't always like this. For most of its history, Bali was a rarity, overlooked and unvisited by most outsiders. Despite most of Southeast Asia falling to colonialism centuries before, it wasn't until the late 1800s that the Dutch arrived and took control. Before then, only private traders really came to the island to make deals with the local royal houses. Most of its people worked the land, growing rice or catching fish. At the turn of the millennium, Bali began to gain international attention, and at first, this tourism was a boon to the island. It gave its people new wealth and prosperity while increasing the island's power within Indonesia itself. The number of annual visitors soon grew to 500,000, then to 1 million, then quickly to over 7 million today. This massive increase is relatively recent, and a large part of it can be blamed on social media and Instagram. As the island's natural beauty became popular on the site, influencers from around the world saw that they could use this to pretty up their own profiles.
So what types of people live in Bali?
Oh man, you get everything. You got the party crowd, you got the fitness crowd like at Rong Gym here. You've got the Dubai bro entrepreneur crowd. You've got the crypto bro crowd. You got the Ubud spiritual crowd. You got it all.
Notice he said everybody besides the natives to the land. The nigga just named every stereotype that you come across at TikTok at 2 a.m. in the morning when you get that motivation, do 5 push-ups and start saying, "Hi, I'ma change shit. Crypto bro, YouTube automation."
But it wasn't always like this. This archival footage from the 70s shows the true beauty of what it used to be like.
They're coming here now with their dope, with their dirty jeans, with their packs.
Have you ever thought that perhaps by coming here you're wrecking the culture?
Just by coming here, you are sort of helping to destroy their way of life, I think. But the only thing you can do is try and live as simply as you can and live as simply as the people here.
A lot of people don't even want immigration at all, just tourism.
Utah Beach used to be an unfashionable area, but since the tourist invasion, shops and restaurants have sprung up all along the dirt roads.
Already though, you can see the beginning of what we've got today, the very start of the replacement. 50 years later, and it's completely unrecognizable. Now, places that were once hidden and pristine have turned into this. As you can see, Bali as an island is currently choking on influences, and literally dying because of this. The luxurious villas and other tourist infrastructure is
Wow, that's beautiful. That's what it was looking like before. This is wonderful. The architecture on this is crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. That shit look like a grandfather clock. This is really nice.
In the local architecture at a breakneck pace. Because of all these people and digital nomads, Bali is literally overflowing with garbage now. The
Oh
island's
my
biggest
god. Oh my god. This is terrible. No, this is not cool at all, bro. People are very disrespectful and narcissistic, especially nowadays. People just don't have any decorum. Like, even people that go to restaurants here that don't clean up after themselves.
The island's biggest landfill is now full, so residents have resorted to burning the trash just to get rid of it.
Obviously, this is gonna pollute the area, mess up the air quality in all different type of ways. It kind of makes me feel even worse because I'm sitting here reacting from my computer looking at this like, damn, bro, I feel so bad for Bali, as if these things are not happening in America too. Like, you really have no control over. I mean, look at fucking global warming and the ice caps and all these things and the pollution and all these things they're doing to really ruin the whole entire earth as a whole. Like, it's happening everywhere, but for some reason it always hits twice as hard when the atmosphere consists mostly of, you know, wildlife and nature and greens. You know, seeing old cultural apartment buildings get gentrified will never compare to seeing trees get chopped down and garbage get left on beaches.
Meanwhile, influencers are trying to turn the island into their own party venue, smuggling drugs in and filming sex tapes on its sacred mountains.
What? Bunkback Mountain. Russian Pornhub star hides out after fleeing Indonesia cops over filming herself romping on sacred Bali Mountain. People will disrespect you in so many different ways, whether it's on a country level, a state level, an apartment level, or just on a personal level. I promise you, bro, you're gonna run into so many different people that try and disrespect you in so many different ways. There's way more evil than there is good in this world.
Veronika Troshina, a Russian influencer and adult content creator, got over 1 million views by desecrating Mount Batur, a grand volcano considered holy by Bali's native population. And unfortunately, this is just one example of a huge growing problem, that Bali is everything wrong with Instagram modern culture, where you party and become a course seller while ignoring laws and ancient customs. While Veronika escaped back to Russia, she probably won't ever face any consequences for her actions. Yet, not all are so lucky.
Quiet, it's $10. $10. $10. No, I'm not dead. No, trust it, it's $10.
Despite claiming it was Panadol, the man was arrested for cocaine possession shortly after. Indonesian authorities are notoriously tough on drug crimes, but apparently the big red warning sign of the death penalty for drug smugglers wasn't enough to deter this guy.
And that's exactly what they get.
This all happens as a product of the culture of partying that's now been imported onto the island. People whose families worked the land or fished the seas for generations have seen their livelihoods and their place in the world vanish in the space of just a few short years. Meanwhile, cartels and international gangs have been quick to capitalize on a booming tourism industry on the island.
That shit is sad. Bro, could you imagine if the government just announced today that all living rooms are now considered public property in the middle of thunderstorms or something? Could you imagine just people opening your front door, going and sitting on your couch with their shoes on and leaving mud tracks all in the living room, and it's just perfectly like legal? And then you just gotta like either clean it up or you just ignore it at that point and just continue on because it's just gonna happen over and over and over. Who are you really gonna get mad at? The government, and they are the ones allowing it? You can't do nothing. Shit is sad.
It's why local newspapers are now talking about a growing organized crime presence on the island, particularly from Ukrainian and Russian gangs fighting to monopolize the exploding drug trade. Just recently, this drug lab was busted by Bali police, with 2 Russian men and 1 Ukrainian arrested in connection to it. And with the influx of gangs now trying to serve the influencers and digital nomads, there comes infighting too, just like we saw with this incident. In December of 2024, a Ukrainian man was kidnapped by masked Russian gangsters, and he was forced to transfer almost $200,000 of crypto to their wallets.
What the fuck going on over there? Yo, hey boy, what in the spy versus spy is going on over there between these two niggas? These niggas is on some whole different shit. They playing a whole different game. This is a whole different video. They need their own separate video.
The victim eventually escaped the ordeal relatively unharmed, but not everyone's so lucky. Another Ukrainian man was kidnapped in 2026, just one day after posting a Valentine's Day photo online with his influencer girlfriend. Some believe he was found through the photo's location data. Soon he was bundled into a rental car with no sign of him found for days until a harrowing video was posted online. The now deleted clip shows an injured and distressed man claiming to be the victim and asking his parents for a $10 million ransom as he gestured to horrific injuries. He was then later found deceased.
Severed head limbs found in Bali believed to belong to kidnapped son of wealthy Ukrainian businessman. That's some crazy shit. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Their government clearly, you know, before I talk shit about their government, I don't want to just talk shit about their government, but it seems like it's just like every man for themselves type of environment unless you're poor. It's like being poor is the only way you can stay out the way. You know, maybe even the crime amongst the poor in Bali is rising too. So
these tragedies are clearly spilling over from other criminal underworlds, all to serve one population that wasn't here 10 years ago. As this, unfortunately, is almost inevitable economically when you consider the party culture that's fueling their arrival. But it's not just criminal gangs. One of the most visually criminal crimes happening in Bali is construction. Companies that are often foreign owned are building like crazy, ignoring all the local rules and greasing pockets to get the best spots next to Bali's picturesque rice paddies and flowing waterfalls. Of course, as more villas go up, they eventually replace the natural beauty. The concrete sprawl gets larger and new villas are needed in new picturesque locations without burning trash. Often foreign construction companies have been rushing to seize land which skyrockets in value just a year or two later. Lots of people responsible for this are the ones partying in the coastal towns. They build illegally, which the government's turned a blind eye to for years because of its booming tourism economy.
but it's like, I don't get that. Like, you can use the tourism to develop Bali, to develop Indonesia, whatever. There's plenty of other countries that also love tourism, and it's like one of the main sources of economic stability. Whether you're getting greedy or not, you're still hurting yourself in the long run. But you can still be greedy and better the country is my point.
The developments got out of control and people got greedy, said one local. We tried to stop it, but the governments didn't listen to us, and now it's too late. Now though, with lots of hastily constructed villas and buildings falling apart just years later, the government has backpedaled, ordering the demolition of lots of these new buildings. While some see it as a move in the right direction, it does still threaten to further damage the environment.
Unfortunately, every day I'm just proving that these elites and these politicians that run our countries or whatever, like, there's the educated people that have to have the credentials to make it in those rooms and you know, occupy those positions. No matter where you cap out at there's always gonna just be nepotism all above that. Just the same idiots that don't know anything about anything, that have all the power due to their family names, and it's been that way for decades, if not centuries. You had to wait for that to happen to now realize the backlash of it. Is like, Jesus Christ, jeez, you're dumb.
More money and push Bali further into a crisis, which mirrors a much larger project in Bali, the infamous Chinese glass elevator, built into the cliff face overlooking the beach. Kelly King Beach for years was a small island gem, accessible via a 40-minute boat ride from Sanur, a small town on the southeast coast of the island. As the Instagram crowd came to Bali, it became one of the most photographed spots in the entire region, and for good reason.
Yo, that's some brave shit she doing. That's dangerous as fuck. One big gust of wind, take her ass to fucking Honolulu. That's some crazy. I would not do that.
Whatever filter you may or may not use, it's absolutely stunning. Or at least, it was. Most visitors never made it down to the beach. The steep hike down the traditional coastal path, which the locals had been using for generations, turned away most travelers. There are plenty of other beaches for people to visit, and you didn't need to take the path to get the beautiful view. But this didn't really matter. In response to this non-problem, a Chinese developer called China Kashi Group was hired to build a massive elevator. And nearly 200 meters tall, the white steel and glass structure was going to be slightly taller than the Washington Monument.
Wow.
Was going to be is the key phrase. Ever since construction began in 2023, locals protested this every step of the way. Construction got about 70% of the way before the regional governor suspended construction, then deciding to schedule this for demolition. So now they're tearing it all down again. Over $15 million were wasted, and more could still be needed to repair any damage to the environment, especially as the original investors behind the project are still battling it out in the courts to stop the ongoing demolition. The project is now temporarily a work of art in a strange, ugly way.
Yo, sometimes I wish I had my own little island of people, but then again, that's the only type of PC games I really play nowadays, you feel me? It's a bunch of world builders and city builders and shit like that. If you know, you know. That geopolitics started off on the right foot. There was no reason for things to go the way it is right now, you know? It's pretty sad to think about. Everything really could have been better, just chose not to.
Now, of course, there are also benefits to tourism. Whatever the character of Bali's new arrivals, their money still spends, and it accounted for over 60% of the island's GDP in 2019. This shift in the economy has completely changed life for most of Bali's native residents. The sons and daughters of fishermen and farmers have been forced to break century-long traditions and family trades. Some of them were happy to switch to construction or to service jobs for the tourism industry.
Imagine your parents have an heirloom or they have just some sort of like affiliation with some trade. That's some shit out of a video game. Like you come from a line of fishermen in the area or you come from a line of miners. Now you're just reduced to serving some fat American nigga a Henny Coke and his dumbass girlfriend fucking lemon drop while they sit in front of you and go on IG live talking about how this place is a shithole because there's too many mosquitoes around or some shit like that.
Pay better, although Bali's minimum wage is still incredibly low. So this ends up just clearly pushing people off the island entirely, like this person claims.
I am Balinese and had to work outside the island. All the work I could find in the island is minimum wage and Bali is among the lowest minimum wages in the country. Once again, they say the government got greedy. If you're gonna let all these tourists in, let them raise the minimum wage and let the tourism be the expense of it. They're contributing. Make everything overpriced for travelers. People will still show up, regulated. Can't imagine that would be too hard to do.
Now obviously there's nothing wrong with going on holiday. There are still many amazing places to go in Bali and so many awe-inspiring things to see. Off the beaten track you'll find beauty everywhere. But as more and more people come to this small island all trying to do the exact same thing as their favorite Instagram influencers, it gets really harder and harder to see how this can sustain itself. Interestingly enough, Bali is the only majority Hindu part of Indonesia, which was the thing that gave it its unique culture to begin with. It's full of beautiful Hindu temples, and due to this historic culture, as long as you're respectful and clean, it's still one of the most welcoming places in the world. But it's hard to see how long this will last. Just take a look at most popular spots now, like this famous waterfall only an hour or so from the major tourist hotspots. In these photos, it's absolutely stunning, but again, the truth is just hidden by the angle. Turn around and you'll see the massive piles of trash that have washed downstream.
Just remember, anytime you're traveling, if you can, if you got it, you know, make sure you give back to the country. You know, at the end of the day, these are these people's homes and shit like that. This is just like one of the most worst things to see. Like I said, like I keep thinking like this is my living room. It's just like seeing somebody fill up your backyard with trash. It's just like, and you can't do anything about it. Why not screen tourists to come into the country on workers permit and use them to clean out these oceans or, you know, these lakes or whatever in order to be like exchange students or, you know, whatever. You know, if these people want to sit here and take in a culture or just live and not be rich here, bro, I'm sure they would not mind if they had to go around and do a little bit of community service to, you know, in some sort of program. Bro, there's so many different ways you could go about saving this shit before it's too late. And unfortunately, they're not going to. Hopefully, the people of Bali band together are able to come up with something. That was a good video, man. It's always nice to kind of just ground yourself and stay humble and really see what's going on in the world. You know, no matter where you live, no matter what you have, you enjoy, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want me to watch next. And until next video, thank you for watching.